Welcome back to a very normal baseball podcast. Today we got international signings and AL and NL West team MVPs. What is going on? Welcome back to a very normal baseball podcast. I'm Alex, that's Lewis. Today we have some stuff to go over. It's the last part in our series of team MVPs for last year, team MVPs for next year. Forgot to mention him. That's Normal Dog right there.
Normal dog, yes
Milo,
sir.
right
Woo!
here and right here. He's
Yeah.
vibing out. He's having a good time. So yeah, it's finally time to finish this out.
Yeah, believe it or not, who would have thunk?
So first we're gonna start. Oh, he's making some noises back there.
Where's my phone? I'm not my
Let me,
phone.
let me give him. I'm just gonna give him a treat just to calm him down. Come here. Come here. There you go. So today we're gonna start with the international signings. We're not gonna have too much on the players like themselves, but we are gonna have just the general who signed where, and in the order of best prospects. Dog, yes.
As on MLB.com.
As per MLB.com, the top prospects for international. So I'll do. You want me to do one? You do two. I'll do three. We're just kind of naming them off,
Alternate.
just to get a
All
list
right,
out.
What do you want to do? Like the top 15,
Yeah, we'll do the top.
or do you want to do the top 50?
Okay, well we can't do top 50. We could.
What are you looking at? What are you looking at,
Just looking
Milo?
at the tree on my desk that I have. For him. We'll do top 15. I think is good.
All right. All right, get
Um,
ready to butcher a lot of names.
yeah. Here we go. This should be interesting. So first we got Roderick Arias. He is the number one overall international prospect, per MLB.com. He signed with the Yankees for $4 million. He is a
Oh,
Yankee.
Yankees.
Interested to see how he's gonna do, or like how close he is to the majors, because I don't really know. I don't
I mean, he's a 17-year-old shortstop. I haven't even looked
just
into any
yet.
of these people yet,
It's
but
just
I would assume that, he probably has some ways to go.
yeah, just yet another shortstop for their farm system, because their farm
Yeah,
system didn't already have enough shortstops.
yeah, not enough at all. All right. Second here we got Christian Verquo, I think, signed to
Vaquero,
the National. Yeah,
I think
he's
Vaquero.
signed to the Nats. Outfielder, he's a switch hitter too. Don't forget that. Um, Again, nothing really to comment yet. I'll be looking into most of these
Yeah,
players soon.
maybe next episode we can give a more kind of in depth, at least with some
Analysis.
numbers or what we've heard from other people. Um, but yeah, so far, and then so the third prospect is Ricardo Cabrera, a shortstop from Venezuela, signed with the Reds. It doesn't say how much. Maybe it's not
Oh,
public.
are we going to mention that?
I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah,
Oh my
he signs
God,
with
this
the
is my
Reds.
first time seeing these numbers. Wow.
Shortstop doesn't not much really to it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Um, all right. Five over here, or four, we got William Bergola, shortstop out of Venezuela, went to the Phils. Uh, we can't really say anything. It's more of just we're just gonna alternate here.
Yeah, what is he, a shortstop? You said.
Shortstop.
Well, the Phillies don't really have a shortstop, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, they're gonna fast track him. He'll probably be up at the All-Star break.
Yeah, for sure. At five we got Oscar, Colas, an outfielder from Cuba, signed with the Chicago White Sox.
Yep.
I guess just another international outfield prospect that they signed because the White Sox are good at that. That's what they do.
I mean, they're like a factory over there.
Uh huh.
Here we go. To six, we got Anthony Gutierrez, an
Good.
outfielder from the
Good.
Dominican Republic.
I think it's Gutierrez.
Gutierrez. Oh, is it? Oh, sorry. Font's a little bit small here. Went to the Rangers. Interesting. See, I feel like the thing with these prospects is that the clubs are looking like 3, 4, 5 years into their future, not immediate. So that's how I'm gonna look at this.
Yeah, no, none of these are immediate. These are all like young kids. They're not.
Yeah, 17, 18, 19 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah. I guess the Rangers rebuilding.
Yeah,
Seeing
just
what happens.
adding to their repertoire of young players to be traded.
Yeah. Uh, then at 7, we got Samuel Munoz, an outfielder from the Dominican Republic. He's going to the Dodgers. I guess just another talent. He's probably going to be an MVP in a couple of years because that's just how the Dodgers work.
Sounds about right.
That's really what they. That's really what they do.
What's he doing?
He wants the treat on my desk, but he ain't getting it. All
right. At 8, we got Lazaro Montes, outfielder from the Dominican Republic, headed over to the Mariners. That's far from home.
Guess just another. There's nothing really to say about these players.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying. Every time, even though we keep saying there's nothing to say, we're just going to keep trying to say something.
We'll just fast track so we can get to the actual point of the video. Because it's probably pretty boring. We're literally just reading names off a list. At 9, we got Ryan Reckley, a shortstop from the Bahamas, going to the Giants. Guess that makes sense.
Yeah. 10, we got Diego Benitez from Venezuela, shortstop, going to the Braves. Benitez. All right.
Well, I gotta say it right. Shortstop, Venezuela, Braves, yeah, whatever. At 11, we got Tony Blanco Jr., an outfielder from Dominican Republic, going to the Pirates. Small money, so I guess there's that.
Well, that's the Pirates' motto. They don't tend to spend money.
Anything over $10 is out of their budget.
Almost. Yordany de los Santos, shortstop from the Dominican Republic, is also headed over to the Pirates. A little bit more than what the Pirates gave their number 11 prospect.
Yeah. 13 is Javier Osorio, shortstop from Venezuela, going to the Tigers. Honestly, just rattle off the last two.
Yeah. Jonathan Mejia.
Mejia.
All right. Shortstop from Venezuela, headed over to the Cardinals, and then Dylan Jorge, shortstop from Cuba, headed over to the Rockies. That rounds out the top 15. Again, just listing them off now. I will be doing research on who these young players are.
So, kind of curious.
Yeah. All right.
Perfect. So now we can get to the actual point of the video.
Yeah.
That works out well. All right. So
get a little more watch time.
We're gonna do the AL, and NL,
West.
MVPs for 2021 and who we think the MVPs are going to be in 2022. I don't even know at this point. We're going to start with the AL just because that's what we've been doing, so might as well just keep the ball rolling there. We're going to start with the Astros as they came at first place. Who do you got?
All right. You go first. You
want me to go first?
I think mine's going to be a little bit out of left field here.
I was between two, but at the end, I just went with Carlos Correa simply because he was the energy of their team this year. Aside from the numbers, which I'll read in a second, but he was the energy of this team this year. He did the watch playoffs, big moment. He did the ears. He always was listening for the crowd. He had the personality of the clubhouse, and I think he kept the clubhouse going the entire season, even when they were not great in the first half-ish, and towards the end when they were being contested by the Mariners. He played 148 games, hit 279, 366 on base, with a 131 OPS plus, 26 homers, 34 doubles. The biggest area is his WAR. Obviously, he has 7.2 WAR, but a 2.9 D WAR is not an easy thing to achieve. It's pretty good. He played an insanely good defense. Very underrated. His strikeout percentage was the lowest of his career. His walk percentage was the highest of his career. Just hard not to pick him. He was kind of all around, even personality-wise, just the best on that team.
Yeah. All right. Well, for my MVP for this season, I went with the numbers route, and I just took their first baseman Yuri Duriel. I mean, he slashed 319 with a 383 OBP and a 462 slugging, and he almost played every game. He was the definition of just the guy that you want out there. Really was able to come out and put his best foot forward every day. It felt like on the diamond, and batting almost 320 really shows that.
Yeah, I mean, he won the batting title.
Yeah, which
Won the
is
AL batting
in a
title.
lead with all these different hitters. It's mind-boggling that he was able to walk away with it.
Yeah, I mean, and especially like people don't realize how old he is. He's like 37-ish.
37.
Winning the batting title is pretty good.
Yeah,
He was good.
impressive.
I don't know. I just between him and Correa, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Correa was more of a personality in a way.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, like I said, I just went with the numbers route.
Yeah, I guess that adds up. No pun intended. No pun intended.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Then you want to hop over to your AL West MVP for the 2022 season?
Yeah, sure. So Astros MVP for the 2022 season. I went with Alex Bregman. Now, he was injured this year. He had probably the worst year of his career. He only played 91 games. He had a 113 OPS, so not terrible. 12 homers, 17 doubles, 55 RBIs, 2.1 WAR. While those numbers aren't bad, of course he only played 91 games, so it's not great for 91 games considering. I mean, his averages weren't bad, but overall, every like it just wasn't a great year for him. I'm assuming he's gonna come back better than ever next year with no injuries or looming injuries that we don't know about. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope so.
with the whole offseason to recover, I'm hoping the same thing.
Here, this dog is ridiculous. Who'd
My
you
was
have?
throwing a hissy fit. For next season, I went with a strange pick, but I feel like this is the right pick in Lance McCullers Jr. He only pitched 28 games this season, and he was kind of derailed due to a few injuries and such. And with Justin Verlander coming back, I think that all eyes will be on the Astros pitching staff because I've seen that some people are saying it's lopsided towards the top. I think Lance McCullers is going to form into the number 2 that follows up Justin Verlander very well, and I think he'll really improve and come back from injury pretty well this next season.
Yeah. Obviously, I think if they had him in that World Series, they might have actually won. They might have actually won the World Series if they had him.
Oh, you mean the most recent World Series? Yes, yes. I thought that you meant like when they made the world, like when they won the World Series.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he got injured in the division series, I believe. I don't think it was the championship series, but absolutely devastating. I think if he, as long as he can stay healthy, I think he'll be fine next year.
Yeah.
I don't know about the best pitcher.
He's a good pitcher.
I mean, yeah. You can't really argue it. He's been good. He was probably their best pitcher this year.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Let's head over to the Seattle Mariners. Who did you take as their MVP?
I took for this year. I was between two, and I really wanted to pick one. Okay, you need to be quiet. That's what you need to do. He's barking at the blitzball strike zone. That's what he's doing. Here you go. Lay down.
All right, who'd you go with?
I went with Mitch Haniger.
Okay.
157 games, 253 average, 318 on base, 122 OPS plus, 39 homers, 23 doubles, 100 RBIs, 110 runs, 3.1 WAR. I mean, I was looking through all the people, and I saw him and like two other people that I was between. But in the end, I mean, considering he wound up playing 157 games, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, you want to tell them who you had? I'm just gonna handle this dog really quick.
Okay. All right. Well, I went with Ty France. I mean, the 26-year-old first baseman for the Mariners was really able to put on a show that we did not think he was capable of. In 152 games, he was able to hit 291 with a 445 slugging and an 813 OPS with a 128 OPS plus. I mean, especially in their uh, late in the season playoff run, he was able to be a real participant of the game. And I mean, he really came up big in some moments, and it was just all around, I think, a season that he will always remember. Even though they didn't make the playoffs at the very end, still he outperformed what I thought he was capable of, and I would like to give him the MVP award. He doesn't know that he's muted yet.
Can I guess who you picked?
Yeah, yes.
Seager.
No, Ty France.
That was who I was between, because he also played almost every game.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to get it done. Gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, no, I like
really
it.
well.
I like it. I was between them. I just wound up going with Haniger just because of some of the numbers. But I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who'd you go with for your
money.
next year MVP?
Next year. Okay, so I had Chris Flexon because he played really well this year. I think he was one of the more underrated pitchers in the league, and when I say underrated, I mean heavily underrated.
Yeah.
The guy pitched 31 games, had an ERA below 4, 179.2 innings pitched, which is a lot considering he was on the Seattle Mariners.
As a starter, nonetheless.
As a starter too, 1.252 WHIP, so not great. His per 9 numbers weren't great either, but I think that if he can figure it out next year is the biggest thing. Get used to some stuff, find some pitches that he likes. Maybe they'll have a little bit better of a catcher to work with. But I see a lot of good in him, and I think with that team, he'll be great next year. And I know between him and, well, I'll let you say yours before I say this. So, did you also pick a pitcher? No. Okay, so then between him and Robbie Ray, obviously I could have picked Robbie Ray, but that would have been the cookie cutter answer. I don't know if Robbie Ray's gonna have that. I don't know if Robbie Ray's gonna have another Cy Young season. I think one of the reasons he had his Cy Young season this year was because he was with the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays pitching staff. The Blue Jays pitching coaching staff, is really good, and I think that was part of the reason that he. Yeah, I think that was part of the reason he improved so much.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
I think it was a big part of the reason.
Good choice.
Yeah. So that's why I went with Flex, and I'm pretty high on him for next year.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I, on the other hand, went with Jared Kalnick. Got called up this previous season, only played in 93 games. He had a very, very rough start, which led to him batting at 181 for his average. I think that he will certainly, now that he's got some experience and he's going to be the starter on opening day for the Mariners with a somewhat revamped team with their new, is it Adam Frazier? It's Adam Frazier, Robbie Ray. I think the Mariners have something to prove, and I think Jared Kalnick is going to be the at the front of the battlefield for them. Putting in work day in and day out. Would it be crazy for me to say that I think he'll bat over 300? Maybe. Am I going to say it? Yes.
Well, that's what it's about. Bold predictions. You got to be high on your pick. Obviously, you're picking him to be MVP. I like what I saw from him this year. He did have a couple slumps, but all in all, he played pretty well. At the end of the day.
I'm gonna chalk that one up to just the jitters of playing in a major league setting.
It was his first year. He was a rookie, and he only played, how many games did he play?
93.
Yeah, he only played 93 games. That's not even. I mean, it's half the season, but it's not enough for a rookie.
And called up halfway through.
Yeah, for a rookie, no.
He needs to get at least another 90 games under his belt before we can really start seeing what type of MLB player he'll be.
Yeah, I agree. I do like him. Hopefully he doesn't. He needs to get down the strikeouts a little bit, but I think that's also just a product of getting used to MLB pitching and big league pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like it. I like it. I also
Alright.
think Kyle Lewis is someone to watch next year for the Mariners.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously,
It was between
I mean, he
Kyle
won.
Lewis and Jared Kalnick for
Yeah,
me.
he won Rookie of the Year. He only played 36 games though last year.
Yeah,
But
I
he won
mean,
Rookie of the Year in 2020.
I'm just hoping that he comes back healthy too, because I mean, an outfield of Kyle Lewis, Jared Kalnick, and who would it be? Oh my God, what the hell's his name? Is it Mitch
Ty
Haniger?
France? Oh no, not Ty France. Jake Fraley or Mitch
Jake
Haniger.
Fraley?
Mitch
Yeah,
Haniger.
Mitch Haniger. That
They
sounds
got
like
good outfield. They got good outfield. He
that
would probably
sounds like
play. He would play
the
over
start of
Fraley.
something. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it just sounds like the start of something good over there in Seattle. So, hoping the best.
Yeah, me too. Me as well. We want to move over to the third place Oakland Athletics.
The large margin third place Oakland Athletics. It
Very,
felt like.
It felt like it. It wasn't. It wasn't actually that much, but it felt like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go first, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna
there's
let
no other choice here, and it's very clearly Matt Olson. I mean, played in 156 games. Their first baseman, batted 271 with a 540 slugging, a 911 OPS with a 153 OPS plus. I mean, he just was the only bright spot on the team, especially after they traded, after they got Starling Marte. It just felt like, it was between Matt Olson and Starling Marte, and Matt Olson had more time on the team, so I'm going to give my award to him.
I also went with Matt Olson. It was kind of hard not to. Like everything you said, all the numbers just kind of make sense. He was the only bright spot, like you said. Not really any other option there.
Yeah.
Although,
all right, and anything to add?
I mean, he might not be on the team next year, but played great this year.
Will he be donning pinstripes next year?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. We're in a lockout.
But yeah.
All right, who'd you go with for your 2022 MVP of the Oakland Athletics?
Interesting. 2022. I went with a pitcher. I went with the starting pitcher again, back to back. I went with Chris Bassett. 2 Chris's in a row. This season pitched 27 games, 3.15 ERA, so just above 3, 157.1 innings pitched, 1.055 WHIP, 3.34 FIP, not 3.9 WAR. So all the numbers are good. All the numbers make sense. Considering he only played 27 games, I think that's a good chunk of games. I think it's a good sample size.
For a starting pitcher, without a doubt.
Yeah, again, I think if he can get, honestly, I don't even know if he has to figure anything out. I think what he's doing right now is working because those are great numbers. If he could do that over the whole season and maybe get the ERA down to like 2.9 something, that's easily an ace kind of numbers. Depending on the other numbers, I think it's ace kind of stuff.
I mean, that's what I would. That would be amazing to see it out of him.
Yeah, so I have some high expectations for him. I mean, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Good choice.
Who'd you have for 2022 Oakland Athletics?
All right. I am just now recalling that this might not be the best pick.
Oh, I know
However,
who you picked.
I went with Ramon Loriana. I know he did get tagged for PEDs. However, before he was suspended from baseball for the rest of the season, batting 246 with a 443 slugging, 760 OPS with a 111 OPS plus, and he is great defensively. Just completely forgot up until I read the name again on my little chart here that he was suspended.
Yeah,
I don't know when his suspension is up, but when he comes back, I mean, he's a good player, and I really think that he'll be the sole bright spot on a Matt Olson-less Oakland Athletics.
So his suspension. Let me check.
And that's on me for not remembering that he was suspended until just now.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that long. 80. It was only 80 games, and up to that point, how many games did he play?
88. So
88.
Yeah,
so he'll be back
still...
like after the first week of the season.
Yeah, basically.
So I don't hate it. I don't hate the pick. I really don't. I think it's a good pick.
I think that he's a good player, and I think that he'll come back with a little bit more to prove and everything, because the whole situation with him and the PEDs is a little bit fuzzed. No one really understands what happened there, not even from what Ramon Loriana was telling the press. he doesn't even understand what happened that much. So
Yeah,
I think that
he
he'll come back
claimed.
with a little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he claimed that
His doctor
his
prescribed it without
yeah, like
knowing.
he wasn't told that he was taking steroids, but either way he was taking steroids. I guess the MLB didn't really. I guess MLB didn't really care. So
Yeah, I mean, you
I
gotta
don't
take your
hate it.
consequences.
I don't hate it, especially because more than likely Matt Olson and Matt Chapman aren't going to be on that team next year. There's
More
not
than
many
likely.
choices. They're probably not going to have a great team next year. So I like that pick.
Yeah, yeah,
Considering who else is on the team, if it was this team, I would never pick him. But
agreed.
this team's going to look a lot different next year. So I do like that.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
For the Angels, I'll go first. Obviously underperforming. It was sad to see considering they had a couple of the best players on the planet.
Okay.
And that brings me to my 2021 Angels MVP, Shohei Ohtani. It's
Same,
not even a
same.
conversation at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
two-way,
Without it.
obviously. He wasn't the best hitter, wasn't the best pitcher, but he was top 5 in both of them, I would say. Pitching was really underrated now that I looked at the numbers again. Obviously hitting 158 OPS plus, 46 homers, 8 triples, which led the majors, 26 steals, 4.9 offensive WAR. And then pitching, which is where I remember looking at it when the original MVP race was going, but then looking at it again, even reminded me again, 23 starts, so not a terrible handful of games. 3.18 ERA, 130 innings pitched. 156 strikeouts, 1.09 WHIP, 4.1 pitching WAR. All those numbers are good. All those numbers are top in baseball kind of numbers.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I'm gonna say right now, I also went with Shohei Ohtani because there's just a zero competition
Yeah, how
on
could
the
you
Los
not?
Angeles Angels.
Exactly. Especially
Yeah,
last year.
I mean, it's hard not to go with him. I think he did great. Uh, hoping that he can outperform himself come next season.
Yeah. I think it would be if he can outperform this year, it's trouble for the league. It's trouble for the AL West, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah,
Especially
it'll be a train wreck of a division.
especially if they keep that other fish guy going good.
Yeah. Speaking of him, I went with Mike Trout for my 2022 MVP
Well, that's also
of
who I went
the
with.
Los Angeles Angels.
That's who I went
I
with.
mean,
How could you not pick Mike Trout? He's the best player on the planet.
okay. So then I'll give you Mike Trout. I will advocate for Noah Syndergaard then. Noah
You
Syndergaard.
could pick we could pick the same player. It's not that big a deal.
All right. Well, now I want to go with Noah Syndergaard because I kind of like the idea of Noah.
You
Syndergaard.
think Noah Syndergaard is going to be better than Mike Trout next year? You
I think
cannot
he's going
confidently
to be, I
tell
think
me
he's
that.
going to be more valuable. The Angels have struggled for years with not having pitching. We saw it in the draft. All they did was take pitchers. I think that Noah Syndergaard will bring more value to the team every 5th day rather than Mike Trout.
I don't know if it could be argued that there is a more valuable player in baseball than Mike Trout.
Did he win MVP?
Well, he played 36 games this year. And in those 36 games, he hit 333 with a 466 on base and a 195 OPS plus.
Yeah,
he got
pretty good.
He had 1.8 WAR through 36 games of the season. When you think about that, 4, 8, 12, 16. So through 1/4 of the season, he had a 1.8 WAR.
Yeah,
that's on pace for an 8 WAR for a player.
Yeah, for an everyday player, that's hard to do.
Not even like Ohtani with pitching and hitting kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
They don't. Mike Trout is the best in baseball for a reason, and in 36 games he showed us. Sadly, he was derailed this year by injury, but hoping
hamstring.
that we can see a healthy.
He was supposed to be back. He was supposed to be back in like 2 months. Just never came back.
Yeah.
Sad,
I have to give my hat off to the Los Angeles Angels because Mike Trout is the most valuable asset in baseball, or maybe even baseball history. So if you want to nurse him back to health, you're going to do it right. And if that meant we lost out on a season of him, just so that way he wouldn't get injured in the future, I will gladly take that trade.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty straightforward as it gets.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
Shohei and Trout running the Angels. Nothing else is new.
Yeah.
if we want to head over to the last place, Rangers, not a great team.
Yeah, what a heartbreaker.
Who'd you have for 2021 last year?
I mean, I kind of went with my gut here. I just took Nick Solak. Um, he played in 127 games, hit 242 with a 362 slugging and a 677 OPS with an 87 OPS plus. I mean, there was no really outstanding player on the Texas Rangers except for Joey Gallo, who got traded. I mean, technically, could he be the most valuable player because they got some things back for him? I don't know, but I think Nick Solak was just a solid player on the Rangers this year.
Not my favorite pick. I think there were two, not counting Joey Gallo, obviously. I think there were two standout players that it could have been, and I don't think Nick Solak was one.
Yeah, that's fair.
I picked Nate Lowe. It was between him and Adolis, but what it boiled down to was Adolis is a rookie. He had a lower batting average, lower on base. He had he had a lower slugging. I mean, those numbers were all lower OPS plus. Rather higher slugging, but lower OPS plus. Adolis struck out 194 times. I couldn't get over that. Lowe played more games. I guess he had less homers, less doubles. But at the end of the day, I take 80 walks to Adolis's 32 walks, and I take the 162 strikeouts to Adolis's 194.
Yeah, that's all fair.
Yeah, and he was there all year. He just kind of played solidly. No other really standout players, like you said, except for Adolis. But at the end of the day, I don't think he was the most valuable piece of their team. Maybe he will be in the future, but not this year.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the
That's where it gets interesting.
2022 MVP for the Texas Rangers. Who did you take?
Okay, so I went with Marcus Semien, one of their new pickups. He'll be playing second base for the Rangers for about 7 years, as long as no trades happen or anything. But, I mean, he played all 162 games for the Blue Jays. Obviously, he was top 3 MVP voting. 45 homers for second baseman set the record. 39 doubles, so he was one short of a 40-40 season. 15 steals, so it's not like he's slow. 7.3 WAR, 1.8 D WAR. And I looked it up in Globe Life in his career, not the old one, the new one, the one that they're in right now. He's played 10 games. He's got 390 batting average, 457 on base, 1.213 OPS, 4 home runs, 3 doubles. So if he could do that all season, I mean,
it's just Globe Life art. He's got to do it all.
He's
season.
Probably the best player of all time. You do that all season.
More than likely.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's hard not to go with Marcus Semien. I mean, there's no one currently on their team that I could really see being that good. Maybe the other guy that they picked up, but no real standout pitchers. I don't think Jack Leiter's going to be up by next year.
Isn't that interesting? Because I took Jack Leiter to be the MVP of the
Did you
2022
really?
Texas Rangers, because I think that they will be bringing him up this year based on how they're treating him, the direction of the franchise and everything. I think they're going to fast track him. I think he will be up in the big leagues before the All-Star break. In Vanderbilt, 2.13 ERA in 18 games. Sounds pretty good. I just think that they're going to fast track him, and I think that he's going to be the centerpiece of what will become a good pitching staff. And it starts with the first step, and I think that first step is getting Jack Leiter as much MLB level experience as possible.
The only issue I have with that is that he literally has not played a minor league game.
I know. I'm bold and brash here.
He hasn't. How are they gonna? I feel like they wouldn't risk ruining his career just to bring him up next season.
I mean, there's a case to be made for both. I remember that the Rangers did say that they were going to try to bring him up this upcoming season and fast track him, and maybe he gets 2 starts and then goes back down to Double-A or whatever. I just think that if he's able to get MLB experience, it will be good for his career.
But most valuable if he gets 2 starts?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Now
Okay.
I'm just talking about.
Okay.
No, I'm in my world, in my head, I'm seeing Jack Leiter pitches 18, 19 games and has a 3.5 ERA. And
most valuable.
yeah, I mean, you can't win if you let up too many runs.
I mean, I guess 3.5 ERA isn't even. I mean, it's good, but it's not.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Unless the Rangers are terrible this year.
I mean, on paper, technically, are they going to be that good? Dare I say?
No, but I mean, technically no, but they have Adolis, Seager, Semien. I mean, I feel like one of those would get.
Yeah, that's 3 players, but baseball is like arguably the most team-oriented sport.
Oh no, I'm not talking about record though. I'm just talking about individual play.
Oh, well, individual play, yeah, they're gonna be fine.
I guess for the future, if we do see Jack Leiter in the majors, I'm gonna be surprised this year.
Fair enough.
But it would be something interesting.
Would you like to shift over to the NL West?
NL West.
Yeah, NL West. Yeah.
Yep. I'm down. The 107 win Giants finished first in their division, 1 game over the Dodgers. Obviously, playoffs didn't end the same way for them.
I believe.
That was my impression of Wilmer Flores checking his swing.
Yeah.
The umps.
Good one.
Get those robo umps in there. Oh, that's a piece of news. I guess we could talk about it after. Anyway, so who'd you have for the Giants for this year? Because I had an interesting pick.
I mean, I as crazy as this might sound, I went with Buster Posey. I mean, the man has been the glue of the team ever. They won 3 championships with him behind the dish. It's sad to see that he retired. I just think that Buster Posey was really a big voice. Although he never showed it too much on the field, I think he was a big voice and a big motivator behind the Giants going out there and winning 107 baseball games.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he was personality. He was the veteran. Everyone loved him.
He was the veteran personality, and I mean, batting .304 at your age 34.
Right, and he played a lot better than everyone thought he would.
And don't forget, he hit one into the cove.
He did. He hit one into the cove.
Yeah. All right, who'd you go with?
I mean, I had kind of a weird pick, but for different reasons. I had Lamont Wade Jr. Obviously, he didn't start that many games. He played 109 games. His average wasn't great, 253. On base wasn't great either, 326. However, 117 OPS plus, 18 homers, 17 doubles, 56 RBIs, 1.2 WARs. However, his clutch stats are absolutely incredible. They would bring him in as
out of this world.
They would bring him in as a pinch hitter all the time. His clutch stats are really good. I remember him hitting a ton of go-ahead home runs. He almost did it in that NLDS Game 5. It was a shame that ball went foul. But I think in general, if we want to say most valuable, I think he was the one that kind of brought the most energy to the team. And he was the one that was always like, you just saw him on the pages. He kind of put the Giants on. Like before they were fully on as like an 100-win team. I feel like early season he kind of got the ball rolling on the Giants. That's what I liked.
It's a good.
He kind of came out of nowhere too.
I mean, technically on the Giants roster, there are, out of the 9 positions, I think genuinely almost every player had a chance at winning this, because the Giants displayed what most people will consider to be the greatest team-oriented baseball I think I've witnessed with my own eyes.
Right, because no one played an abundance of games.
Yeah, like no one was out there every day giving it their all, but when it mattered most, they were able to lock down, and they treated every game, it felt like, as if they were about to raise the World Series trophy.
Yeah, they really just put a lot of good players out there, and they let them do their thing, and obviously when you could do that, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, that transitions.
And their pitching was good. I mean, a couple pitchers were definitely in contention, like Gossman, DeSclafani, Webb, Wood, Cueto. All their pitchers were really good this year. The highest ERA was 4.08, so that's how you know it's good.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right. Do you want to move over to the MVPs for next season?
Next season, I had
Who'd you go with?
a guy who they picked up from qualifying offer. I got Brandon Belt. This
Very nice.
year, he played 97 games, 274 batting average, so higher than people might expect.
Yeah.
378 on base percentage, also higher than people might expect. 160 OPS plus through 97 games. So that's not like a small chunk of the season. That's a pretty big chunk of the season, and he had a 160 OPS plus, 29 homers, 2.7 WAR. If he can do the same thing next year or even similar, that's incredible stats, especially for how old he is. He's not young. I think he's going to be extremely valuable for them next year because he's the veteran now that Posey's gone. Him and Brandon Crawford.
Yeah,
And Evan Longoria, but he's been on that team the longest.
the infield connection between Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford are probably second to none. I can imagine. I mean, I'm happy to see that Brandon Belt did take the qualifying offer and stay with the Giants because I feel like Brandon Belt's the type of guy that you don't want to see play anywhere else.
Yeah, seeing him in any uniform, he's not like a top free agent. And just seeing him in any uniform would feel weird.
Without a doubt. All right, so for my 2022 San Francisco Giants
San
MVP.
Francisco.
All right. I went with Logan Webb. A little bit of a recency bias because of the playoffs, but I mean the kid knows how to throw. Last year he was 24 with a 3.03 ERA. I mean he just really knew how to get it done. In 148 innings pitched, he only gave up 128 hits and was able to strike out 158 batters. I think that the trajectory that he's on, especially when you look at the numbers, is only up from here, and I'm excited to see what his 2022 season will look like.
Yeah, I like it. Might be a little bit of recency bias because of the playoffs.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean he's also a good pitcher. It's not just
he was good in the regular season as well.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I guess now that Gossman's gone, they got to pick up some of the slack. And he did pitch good. I watched him pitch against the Mets, I believe. No, that was Alex Wood. But I did watch him pitch in the regular season as well as the postseason. Kid's electric. He can get it. He gets it done when it matters. He pitched well in the playoffs. I don't hate it. Don't hate it at all.
Yeah. All right. Want to head over to the Doyers?
Los Doyers. I went with for this season. It was a little tough, but at the end of the day, I chose Walker Buehler.
Rats.
Why? That's who you chose?
Yeah.
You could pick him too. It doesn't really matter. 33 starts, 2.47 ERA, 207.2 innings pitched, 0.96 WHIP, which is really good. 3.16 FIP, which is also really good.
It's a stud.
Good stats. That's all. That's the simplest way to say it. Good stats.
Yeah. I mean, I also went with Walker Buehler for the same reason. I mean, good stats. I think that the Dodgers won't look to bring back Clayton Kershaw, sadly, and I think that Walker Buehler's going to step in and become the next, guy as to fill Clayton Kershaw's shoes, which is a big task to do, and I think that Walker Buehler might be up for that challenge.
Call me crazy, but I'm considering switching mine to Julio Urias.
Yeah, you're crazy. He's not a good pitcher. He just plays on the Dodgers.
2.96. That's so not true when you look at these numbers. 2.96 ERA. I mean, 185 innings pitched. 195 strikeouts. He's worse. Okay. I'm not gonna switch it because Buehler definitely was better than him. However, I think it's something to note how good he was this year. I mean, 3.13 FIP, 1.018 WHIP, both insane numbers. I don't know. I just think it's notable to see how good he was this year for them as well. But that's just this year. Also, Bauer's coming back next year. Their pitching staff.
Yeah, which will be interesting.
Even without Kershaw, that pitching staff is crazy.
Yeah, that's something to be scared of.
I was considering saying Max Scherzer because he didn't lose a single game, but at the end of the day, they still were going to make the playoffs without him. They were still going to make the NLDS without him.
He didn't put them over the hump.
Yeah, he gave them 7 more wins, a little more than that probably like 8 or 9 more wins. I mean, they still would have made the playoffs.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Who do you got for next year?
Compose myself. For the 2022 season, the Los Angeles Dodgers MVP will be former MVP Cody Bellinger.
I had a feeling that was coming.
He has had 2 seasons of just lackluster play, and I think that we are going to get MVP Belly back in the 2022 season.
I don't.
After what he's done, I should just say last season, not the last 2 seasons. But after what he has done last season, I think that it's hard to do worse than what he did. Obviously, injuries played a big part in why he was not able to perform as well as he could have. But I think starting in the 2022 season, Cody Bellinger will be the MVP that we once knew.
Yeah, I mean, 165 batting average this year, terrible. 45 OPS pluses for the Dodgers. I mean, he had the same OPS plus as, worse OPS plus than Austin Barnes, which is, what the hell? What the hell, Cody Bellinger? 2 years. It has been 2 years. You're right. Last year and this year, he has not played good. However, he did look good in the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
and I think maybe that's going to be a sign of things to come.
I think that's a sign of hope. However, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt just because that could just be, that playoff kick of
energy.
I feel like every MLB player gets it in one way or another of they feel like they need to do their best. And I mean, Cody Bellinger did play well in the playoffs, don't get me wrong. I just don't think that success that he had could continue, like if the season were to start back up right after the World Series ended.
Yeah, it's like the adrenaline.
Yeah. I think that he's going to come back this year completely healthy, and we are going to see an MVP type Cody Bellinger again.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think, well, we know what's in him. He's just got to figure out what's.
We saw it.
He's won MVP, and he probably could have won it twice in a row. We know it's in him. We just gotta we gotta see it happen. I don't hate it. However, I did pick someone different. I went with Mookie Betts. I mean, I agree. We are going to see the MVP version of a player. I think Mookie Betts is going to be 2018 Red Sox MVP Mookie next year.
That's terrifying.
I mean, this year, obviously, he wasn't great. I mean, he still... This is the crazy part. He wasn't great this year. 128 OPS plus. 23 homers, 29 doubles, 3 triples, 4.2 WAR. That's a not good season for Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
I think next year...
How many 300s did he bowl?
2, probably, last season. I mean, I just think that's incredible for a down year. And I think next year he's going to come out firing, and he's not going to be messing around. And I think we're going to get a Red Sox Mookie back.
As a Yankees fan, that kind of gives me a little bit of PTSD, but I also agree with you. I think that there are...
It gives me PTSD, but he's not on the Red Sox anymore, so I'm fine with seeing it this time as opposed to last time.
I mean, I think that there are a good 5 to 6 players on the Dodgers come the 2022 season that you could call MVP, and I think that we just took the best available to, but the margins between number 1 and even number 5, in my opinion, are razor thin.
I think there's a lot that you could argue. I think it's really easy to argue anyone on the Dodgers, like you said, because they have such a good team. I mean, Trey Turner is really easy to argue. Max Muncy, it's really easy to argue.
I mean, you could just say Walker Buehler's
really easy to argue. Season. I mean, Will Smith can be argued. Not the easiest to argue, but he can be argued.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers just have
Bauer's coming back. You
could even say Gavin Lux. I mean, he looks to be a very, very big bright spot, and he's getting some good experience. If the Dodgers want
I wouldn't say very, very bright spot. I wouldn't go that far.
Maybe. I mean...
He did not have great numbers this year.
Well, not in that sense, of the sense that he's getting the experience and
I guess
playing the games. He has the potential to do something good for the Giants. The Dodgers, not the Giants.
I don't love it. I do agree that he is getting experience, but I don't love... I wouldn't love that argument if someone came up to me and made that.
All right, well, we'll see.
Just considering the other options out there, like...
Yeah, I know. I think that there's a large drop-off between, like, the number 8 or whatever on the MVP list and the 9 and Gavin Lux.
Yeah,
you know? But he's up there, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we head over to the underperforming team in San Diego? That shall not be
San
named.
Diego Padres.
Oh,
Yeah,
or they
let's head
will
over
be
to 'em.
named. Or they will be named. San Diego Padres. As the Kansas City Chiefs get another first down. Slam Diego Padres. Obviously so underperforming this year. It's very sad.
Yeah.
We knew we thought two teams in the NL West were gonna win 100 games, but we didn't think it was gonna be those two. Padres 79 wins. 79 wins.
Heartbreaking.
That's
The Manny Machado led San Diego Padres.
2 more wins than the Angels this year. 2 more wins than
Yeah.
the Mets this year. 2 more wins than the Tigers this year. That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy is a good way to describe
One
it.
less
All right.
win than the Cleveland Indians. All right, I'm
Yeah.
done. Anyway.
Okay, who'd you go with for the MVP?
Okay. I have a reason for this. I went with Manny Machado.
I did too.
I had a feeling because I couldn't pick Tatis. I just couldn't because the defensive stuff and team chemistry kind of stuff. He had the swag.
He missed the 30 games that really threw them out of contention, it felt like.
Yeah, but Manny Machado, 153 games, 278 batting average, 347 on base, 131 OPS plus, 28 homers, 31 doubles, 106 RBIs, 5 WAR, and a .8 D WAR. I mean, he's Manny Machado. He's one of the most underrated players in baseball right now. Sadly, yes. He was a leader in that clubhouse. We saw it when him and Tatis got into the argument. It's not about you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
I think
Go play
he
baseball.
was good. He wanted to win. He wanted to win on that team.
I
mean, really showed it. And it's just so sad how underperforming they did. And I think Manny Machado was like the biggest up in that clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, Manny Machado, just really another guy who, like you said, is underrated now, shockingly, who really left it all out on the field. Day in and day out. I will admit, I saw the Padres play in person against the Mets. I did see Nando hit a grand slam that basically ended the game for the Mets. But Manny Machado made 2 defensive, just gold glove caliber plays that game at the hot corner. And I mean, that's just part of what you get every day having Manny Machado on your team. And I really think that, especially in like the middle of the season, like right before and right after the All-Star break, Manny Machado was showing in and showing out every day. It was just something to point out.
I feel you can't forget that Manny Machado is the second best third base defender in baseball.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Right behind Arenado, if not on the same level. I know it's hard to be on the same level as Nolan Arenado, but God, Manny Machado is right there.
That margin in between Nolan Arenado and Manny Machado
isn't as big as people think.
Thin.
Yeah, it's not as big as people think.
I mean, it's great to see that Manny Machado had a season like this, and now I think Manny Machado is a social media guy. I think that maybe he's seeing that people are underrating him and kind of downplaying the player that he can be. Going into his age 29 season, you're going to tell me that Manny Machado's not good anymore? I think that's a huge chip on his shoulder. I think Nando's going to have a chip on his shoulder. Musgrove, who's coming back. Everybody on the Padres should be playing as if they have something, and they do have a lot to prove.
Yeah. Certainly have stuff to prove from last year. I mean, just terrible. If there's any team in baseball that has a lot to prove, it's them.
Slam Diego Padres.
And I think next year, their best player will be Fernando Tatis. I don't think he'll miss the 30 games. And the scary part about this season, he missed 30 games. He still had 42 home runs.
Yeah.
And 31 doubles and 97 he had 97 RBIs and he missed 32 games. 6.6 WAR and he missed 32 games. He can work on the defense whenever he wants. He only had a negative .2 D WAR. I get that his defense was bad. I get that he didn't know what position he was playing for half the season. That's insane. Where do you see
him playing next season?
He's gonna be a short. He's not gonna be in the outfield. He'll be a short.
Okay, good.
He can work on that. That's something that comes with time. He'll work on it.
Yeah, it should be fine for him next season.
But oh my God, with the bat, this guy don't even throw to him. He's like the next Barry Bonds. This man,
Wow.
42 home runs in 30 games. If he played those 30 games, he would have hit at least 55 home runs.
So you just said the 22-year-old Fernando Tatis Jr. is Barry Bonds caliber?
Potentially. I didn't say exactly, but potentially he would have had 55 home runs last year. If he didn't miss 30 games.
Okay. All right. For my MVP, I went with Joe Musgrove. I'm hoping that he comes back healthy, and I think that he's going to be the ace of the pitching staff going forward for the Padres. That's really all I can say. I mean, I just really want him to come back healthy, and I think that a big part of why the Padres lost as many games as they did is because they just didn't have the pitching in the beginning,
sure.
and when when a team, especially who they had to play a lot, such as the Dodgers, Giants, Astros, when those teams got rolling, it was impossible to stop them, and their starting pitching was a big problem in that.
They definitely had the pitching in the beginning of the year. I think it was towards the end of the year they didn't.
Well, losing Joe Musgrove, I know that Blake Snell did miss a good amount of starts too due to injury.
They didn't lose Joe Musgrove.
Yeah, did he not get injured?
No.
I wanted to take the pitcher that got injured.
I mean, he started 32 games. Did he get injured? He didn't pitch in the postseason. They lost. Oh wait, no, they didn't make the postseason. What am I saying? Did he get injured?
Oh my God, who did they miss? I know that they missed a pitcher.
I know Yu Darvish was terrible.
Yeah, Yu Darvish was terrible.
Here, let me look at his game logs. Let's see.
Whatever, I'm still going with Joe Musgrove.
No, you can still go with him. I completely get that. Let me just see.
Maybe I'm. Did I?
No, he was never out. He was there August. He was there July.
Wow, that's bad on me. That's my fault.
He didn't miss any time.
Hope that he did. All right.
Only because I was looking at the numbers while you were talking, and he had 32 games. I mean, that's not. There's no way he got injured.
Yeah, you can't miss a game.
Not significant. Right. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. I like the pick. I like Joe Musgrove.
Joe Musgrove. He's gonna be 29 years old, I think.
Yeah.
Come the start of next season, so I think that he'll be a very solid piece coming out every fifth day for the Padres.
All right. Well, as we wind this down, coming towards the end, we have the Colorado Rockies. Try to kind of speed these up. They're not good teams. The Rockies, they did overperform with what people thought, but 74-87. Who'd you have for the Rockies?
I mean, kind of obvious. I went with Trevor Story as their MVP. I mean, 28-year-old shortstop who batted .251, .471 slugging with an .801 OPS, 103 OPS plus. I think, he's just the reason why they sold tickets. I mean, he was the Colorado Rockies fans' hero when it came time for the home run derby, although he did not go far. I just think that it's hard to say that it's anybody but Trevor Story.
I actually went with someone else. I went with CJ Krohn. He was there all year. Yeah. He had a better batting average than Story, better on base, better slugging, better OPS. I mean, he played a lot better than Story. Same amount of games, too. More homers, less doubles, but he's also not as fast.
Yeah, well, that's why they throw him at first.
More RBIs. I just think he played better. I think if they traded Trevor Story and got a haul back, for me, he would have been the most valuable. Because getting stuff back, but they didn't trade him, and now he's a free agent. Like, what the hell are you doing, Rockies?
Didn't. Yeah.
Like, what is going on in Colorado? They're paying Nolan Arenado to play for a different team, and they didn't trade Trevor Story when they should have. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but CJ Krohn, 31 years old, first baseman. He was there all season, kind of locked himself in, played really well. That's why I picked him.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So who'd you go with for the MVP come the 2022 season for the Colorado Rockies?
It's a little tough. I'm gonna go with Ryan McMahon.
Okay, good. That's also who I went with.
Yeah, he played good this year.
Played really well. I mean,
played
in the
all
start of the
season.
season, I would have thought that he was Manny Machado, like the second coming.
Yeah, 2.0.
In the first month or so of the season, wow, did he show out. But sadly, he fizzled out a little bit. He ended the season batting .254 with a .449 slugging and a .779 OPS with an OPS plus of 98. I mean, the future is bright for him as a 26-year-old third baseman. Just hoping that he continues his trajectory of going forward, going up.
I agree with everything you said. I mean, it's just the Rockies.
The Rockies, yeah. No other way to put it.
That's all I have to say is the Rockies.
As the Chiefs get a big man touchdown.
I saw that. Lineman. All right.
To make it 28-7. Wow.
Let's round this out. Let's end with the Diamondbacks. 52 and 110. Impressively bad.
Hard to do.
Who'd you have for this year?
I mean,
hard, tough.
I don't even know. Like, this is the one team that I left blank because I just don't know. Can I say the Pool out in right field? I can imagine that they always
you
sold
can
tickets.
You can go with the Pool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Pool then. I mean, yeah. If Tim LeCastro spent the whole season on the Diamondbacks, he would be my MVP by a lunar light year, and it would not be close. But right now, I'm gonna go with the Pool. I mean, it seems like a nice place to be if you can watch baseball and get out of the Arizona heat. Count me in. Shout out the Pool. I definitely need to go to that Pool sometime soon.
I love it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick with you. The kind of theme you're going with. I'm gonna go with D-backs or the Bobcat.
Oh, okay.
I think his personality this year is unmatched, and he just set that team on fire.
What was his OBP?
The 3,000.
He
actually got on base 3 times each at bat.
That's a whole lot more than some of the other players on the Diamondbacks.
Oh yeah, no, he was great. He was great. I think he was really entertaining.
Okay.
And then who do you have for next year?
I went with Ketel Marte just because I think that he will be somebody that a lot of teams are looking to trade for. He can be valuable. Sadly, he did miss a lot of games this season, only played in 90 of them. But in those 90 games, he batted .318. You know, with an OPS of 909.
Yeah, he's good.
OPS plus of 143. He's a good player. He's damn near utility. I mean, he can play a little bit of everything if you really need him to. He's fast. He has the bat. I think that he's most valuable because there is a very high asking price on this.
Yeah, on paper he's most valuable. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Mark Malanson, closer. I mean, I don't know why he signed there.
As my second MVP, I'm gonna go with whoever takes care of the Pool at the Pool.
All right, because then I'll have 2 MVPs then too. Well, so I have Mark Malanson. Why did you sign there? I get that you wanted money. I think a team would have given you more. But whatever. I'm gonna go with Mark Malanson just because he's a good pitcher. Not really much to say. I don't even care about his stats this year. My real MVP is the guy in the Bobcat costume. Keep up the great work next year. Hopefully we'll be there to see you. You never know what's gonna happen. I love you, D-backs or the Bobcat.
I hope it's not too hot in that mascot uniform.
Yeah, I hope they give you some air every few months.
I hope they let you spend some time in the pool before and after the game.
Yep. That was the most important part to me.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right. That was entertaining.
There are some new minor league rules, but we'll talk about those next episode. I enjoyed that episode. I mean, that ends the MVP prediction and current for this season and next. We could redo this closer to when the season starts if it does start on time. But we'll see. For now, I enjoyed that. Now, next episode might be a fun one. Certainly had a great time. Thank you. Anything else left to say?
Yankees.
Keep your eye out for more different kind of videos that aren't just podcasts. In the near future. Thinking of some stuff.
Twitch streams.
Don't
forget
TikTok, check out Twitch,
TikTok,
Instagram. Yep.
It's really, we tried our best to keep everybody in the loop with anything baseball related.
Yeah.
So feel free to find us on most platforms.
Yes. And that's really all we got for you today. This has been a very, 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 very normal baseball podcast, and we'll see you next time.